Hello and welcome to High Spirit Bag's travel vlog. Our videos aim to help you in every step of the travel experience as we provide tips and tricks to get the most out of your travel experience. Now in this video, we're going to give you all the tips you need to know when it comes to how to travel solo in a city. Now, traveling solo can be one of the most exciting, liberating and eye-opening experiences, no matter your age. It offers ample opportunity for self-reflection, growth and boundless freedom. However, it can also be daunting, especially if you've never traveled solo before. To travel is to explore and experience new places and take advantage of everything a destination has to offer. This needn't be daunting, in fact, it's really exciting. So here's our travel tips when traveling solo. Of course, the first thing to bear in mind is safety. Caution and exercising safety is really important when you're out alone because remember, you are traveling solo in a country you've never been before. So, while it definitely pays to be cautious and of course make sure you take all the necessary precautions, and also prior to traveling to that country, make sure you check out whether there's any issues in terms of wars or any conflict. If you're traveling to countries which are both peaceful, obviously very well known, and you have left contact details with regards to the hotel that you're staying in and all the different places you're going to with family and friends back at home, this should be a really exciting adventure. So make sure you are cautious, but don't be too cautious that you don't enjoy your next adventure. Now, once you're on the ground, firstly, try to learn the local language. This may sound obvious, but you might be surprised at how many people don't really make an effort. Now, making the effort to learn a handful of phrases in the country's native tongue, if it's not an English-speaking country or if it's not a tongue native to you, can make a huge difference in how you experience the country, especially when you don't have anyone with you to lean on for translations. Also, talk to the locals. Very often, the key to having a unique and unforgettable experience when taking any type of trip is the willingness to stray from the usual path and sidestep the tourist spots. Another thing that's worth mentioning is actually looking for shared housing options. So rather than maybe booking solo places or solo hotel rooms where you don't necessarily meet lots of people, look for shared housing options which are of course safe in a decent part of the city. And because one thing to mention is that when it comes to single occupancy hotel, it's both expensive and let's face it, it's also quite lonely at times. So staying in really safe hostels and also shared Airbnbs are a really amazing way to meet people and also fellow solo travelers who can really enrich your experience on the ground. Also, go your own way. Everyone's different, so picking a trip tailored to your unique personality and interests will be the key to having a good time when traveling solo. To jumpstart your solo travel, here are the top countries and cities for solo adventures. Firstly, consider visiting Rome in Italy. Rome has so many beautiful and very old and historical chapels, including the Sistine Chapel. It's home to an amazing architecture, and it's a city that can be fairly safe to travel, especially if you're a solo woman who's traveling by herself, as well as a solo man. Another city to consider is Toronto in Canada. Now, one of the things about Canada that is amazing is just how friendly and accessible this place is, and also how friendly the people are. And in Toronto, you will find a mix of skyscrapers, but also very beautiful areas which have serene parks and a lot of nature. Another place, of course, is the Big Apple, New York in the USA. This is a city that never sleeps, and that's definitely true to its reputation. It's very fast-paced, however, it's also very well connected and it offers so much from different aspects of the city for the first-time visitor. Of course, another city to consider is London in the UK. Now, London, again, a little bit like New York, is a smaller version of New York. It's a city that is just as busy, if only a little bit smaller, and different parts of London have different characteristics, including East London, which is really edgy, Central London, which has all the historical sites, including Buckingham Palace, as well as West End, where you can find different theatres and plays, and in North London, this is where you find the more green side of the city. Further afield, do consider, if you have a slightly larger budget, visiting Cape Town in South Africa. It's home to a beautifully and stunning area where you can find the Table Mountain. This is a flat mountain from which you can see the vista of the ocean. Of course, it is also really historic because, of course, this is where Robben Island is. This is where Nelson Mandela, who was the first president post-apartheid, was imprisoned for 27 years. Another place to consider further afield is Nairobi in Kenya. So Kenya is home to safari, and Nairobi is a city which in many ways is quite busy. It's seen as one of the epicenters in Eastern Africa. Now, Nairobi would be your base because safari doesn't take place in Nairobi. You use it as your base and you take a tour out just outside where you will get access to lots of different parts of nature, and of course you see the wildlife. Another city further afield is Hong Kong, which is part of the territory of China. Now, Hong Kong is very different to mainland China because firstly, it's an English-speaking city where you can find lots of different things to do. And in many ways, Hong Kong is the New York of Asia. It's so busy, it never sleeps. There's towering skyscrapers, and different parts of Hong Kong have their own distinct characteristics. The final place to consider is Tokyo in Japan. This is busy, modern, and technological. It's very, very diverse, but also one of the things to bear in mind, of course, when it comes to somewhere like Tokyo is English is not the first language of the majority of people. However, a lot of Japanese people are really helpful and they really strive to help you if you are a tourist that's lost. Another thing to remember with Tokyo is the cuisine is amazing and very, very delicious. And if you are lost, it's a very, very safe and very easy place to get around. Now, make sure as you're traveling solo, you challenge yourself. Boredom and loneliness can happen at times when solo traveling, especially if you're solo traveling for long periods of time. But finding ways to keep yourself entertained and curious can also lead you to seeing a city in a new way. Make sure you experience it all. When Airbnb introduced diverse experiences, diverse local-led activities in cities all around the world, it completely reshaped this industry. Now solo travelers around the world can take part in countless unique experiences while meeting new people. So do make sure you also check out Airbnb experiences. However, whilst it's important to make sure you plan, don't plan every single second. Don't be too rigid. Every day you'll learn more about where you are and all the things that you can do there. And of course that therefore means even if you've planned initially prior to leaving your home country, things might change on the ground, so do be flexible. Proper planning for trips can give you a peace of mind, but also don't forget to leave some room for exploration and a little bit of difference in experience as you learn things on the ground. You can also consider couch surfing. So another popular choice for seasoned solo travelers is couch surfing, which is a networking site that connects locals and visitors in cities around the world. Hosts can offer a coach or a spare room, and members can meet up for events. Make sure you also take your time. So solo travel means ultimate freedom. Embrace it and take things at your own speed. One day you may feel inspired to go sightseeing, while on another you may call for a slower pace. The joy is in making the decisions yourself. So that's all. If you found this video useful, we'd love it if you gave the video a big thumbs up, and if you could consider subscribing to High Spirit's YouTube channel. Now, also don't forget that you can visit www.highspiritbags.com, where you find lots of travel accessories including theft-proof travel bags, which you can use to accompany you on your adventures. Thank you so much for listening.